I just put on these hand masks, and they're gonna make my hands softer. And I was thinking at the end of the episode today, we could do a hand reveal. There's two of them. There's Ewok Adventure Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure The Battle for Endor.
That's 3.
No, it's like Ewok Adventure
Caravan of Courage.
And it's also like there's like other titles, I'm sure like all the super fans at home are screaming right now the other titles.
Yeah.
But I saw those before Star Wars. Why did I bring this up? I'm watching those tonight.
Yeah. You just wanted to.
I just always want to talk about Star Wars. Which
you must hate me. You must hate talking to me. I'm like, what is the Ewok?
No, it's fun. It's fun to like talk about Star Wars with people that don't really know it, because as you're talking about it, you realize how fucking stupid it is.
It's like being in therapy. You like say the things out loud, and then you're like, what am I saying?
It takes away all the power of. Because it's like the most toxic fan community ever. Like
wow, that's saying a lot.
It really, but I firmly feel that like people really tried to like say like, oh, it's because of like the Disney movies, like, but like it's always been really toxic.
Yeah.
And it's for a really dumb thing that I love it so much. But should we introduce the show? We're recording,
yeah.
right?
Are we recording?
I'm Vera Drew.
And I'm Ember Knight.
And
welcome
to Jackass.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
That was like, it was low energy, but it felt like earned.
To me, it was subtle but tense.
Futuristic too.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever told you you have a futuristic voice?
A futuristic voice.
I don't know what it is. It's like if you walk into like a future hospital. A future hospital. And you hear like a voice come on the intercom in like a space age hospital. It'd be your voice.
It would be my voice.
Yeah, very calming.
Please stick your dick in the tip cup.
That's the future. That's the future liberals want.
Vera, can I let you know something that is kind of big news for me?
Yeah.
These pants?
Yeah.
There's a jacket. It's a suit.
Oh my God, it's a new color.
It's a new color.
Okay, let's talk about this.
Do you want to see it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is so exciting. So Ember needed a new suit because their famous blue suit got soiled just after years of comedic use of it. Holy shit. Wow. Wowie zowie. Oh my God.
I won't say where it's from because I don't approve of the company, but I made it up out of dreams and spit.
Yeah, the 13-year-olds that made it for you.
It's like not even a bad company. I just don't like their branding, and I
see.
refuse to plug them. So
no, that's good. You're smart. I shouldn't be plugging Star Wars. They're not paying me a dime.
But maybe they will.
We'll see.
I would love you to be sponsored by Star Wars.
This is great. So you did not go blue. Is this your new suit? Is this the new suit that we've?
I think it's not the new suit because this crepe material is not going to be able to jump into trash cans and like get wet and shit. So I think that I still need to replace the blue suit to finish the show, but this is going to be the keeping the vibe up over the next couple of months suit.
It's fucking great. Like this is your like personal appearances for the show.
This suit does some heavy lifting.
It does. You like coming around that corner. Like it was like the biggest dick energy I've ever seen on you, and you have that energy.
It swings
regularly.
It swings and it sings.
But this was swing low, sweet chariot. Man alive. I love it.
A friend pointed out that it's very Jim Carrey the Mask.
I was saving that because I wanted to be complimentary first.
Yeah.
But I mean that. I would mean that in a complimentary way.
Absolutely.
Um,
Has Jim Carrey ever played Satan?
no, but he should
But he
have.
should have every time.
No, Adam Sandler. I was thinking of Adam Sandler playing Satan in Dirty Work. But no, Jim Carrey would be a good Satan.
He's a good Satan.
He played God. He wasn't a very good God.
Terrible God. Terrible God.
What is it with those like secular God movies, like fucking Bruce Almighty?
I literally just rewatched Dogma, which is such a bad movie, but like the last 10 minutes are somehow good. And so I only ever remember the last 10 minutes, and I'm like, oh, I loved it. Alanis Morissette as God, so fun. And then I sit through it and I'm like, this is just exposition. They're just talking. It's so boring.
Every scene is just characters talking about either like pretty like basic Catholic philosophy or like an action that's happening off camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It literally, there was no way for Jay and Silent Bob to not be funny because everything going around them was just like text, snarky comment, text. And then they'd be like, let's smoke weed. And you'd be like, thank you.
Yeah, thank God for the Snoochie Boochies. No, that's I mean, that's the only reason, because that movie and like all of the Jay and Silent Bob canon was very important to me as like a teenager. But like looking back at it now, it really is just because of those two characters, and it's really just because of Jay. Like just because like that is like a one of a kind human being.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I tried. I wouldn't recommend rewatching any Kevin Smith movie, let alone Dogma, because in many ways it's like the longest one.
It's so long.
How do you make the Bible more boring? Sorry.
Well, should we
We have a segment.
Oh, there's a little newsboy coming over the hill.
Oh yeah, it's time for the
waving.
newsboy.
We
No,
did introduce the show.
Yeah. Produce. I mean, walk your. Do your newsboy introduction, because I like that a lot. I like that being
Here he comes from
framing.
over the hill. He missed us introducing the show because he was running, but he's waving his cap, and he's here he comes now. Oh, speeding into the finish line.
So fast. Slow down.
This time I have to sit on.
Okay, here I'll just sit on your lap.
I can sit on the floor.
Yeah, you can sit on
It's the best.
It's Bobby McCoy, ladies and gentlemen. He's here
Bobby
to do
McCoy.
his segment, the extra Jackass.
Hello. What is it called? Bobby's Jackass 4
Let's call it
updates.
the newsboy. Let's call it the newsboy update.
Welcome back to the Newsboy update. A lot has happened since the last recording. Many fans will remember that I had mentioned that Bam Margera, beloved star of Jackass, has. You don't have to stop laughing yet.
We have to stop laughing now because it's about to get serious, but I'm still laughing at Newsboy update.
Many will remember that Bam Margera was doing great, but he started posting his secret language that he invented during his last mental breakdown. And we wondered last week whether or not it was a harbinger of things to come.
I'm still not entirely convinced that it is a harbinger of things to come. But just because that seemed like it was more in line with, well, I'm sorry, continue your newsboy update.
Well, okay, so what happened is there was a moment there where he began to post that he was no longer involved in Jackass 4. He took some shots at Jeff Tremaine, Johnny Knoxville, and Spike Jones. And it all culminated in a very troubling video in which he said many things, one of which
was I love homos. He said I love homos quite a bit.
he did say that
And we love you.
at least 2 times. And again, it's very dark. We don't mean to make light of this.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It is a comedy show.
He challenged. That's true. He
And
challenged.
we're starting it with this.
He challenged Brendan Novak of CKY to some kind of challenge to see who was the better skater, and the winner would get a car that Novak owes to Bam.
That Bam doesn't want.
Bam says it's like the coolest car, and who wouldn't want it, but also Bam doesn't want it, but also whoever wins gets the car.
And it's just the two of them that would be winning.
Um,
And Novak has the car because he owes it to Bam. So
I hope I have the level of celebrity that things that mundane are something that people care and talk about, because they really are the only two. Sorry, continue the Newsboy update.
And so the troubling part was that he did. He said he had an accident with a bottle of wine, and so what set him down this path was his alcoholism. Back in the Jackass, I guess around Jackass 3, but for many years. And then the next morning, he posted a video where he seemed very coherent, and he's just it seemed like he was clearing everything up, and he apologized and said they just want to make Jackass 4 work, whatever they got to do.
And he said that wasn't that when he said that he is bipolar? He's manic bipolar.
Yes, he got diagnosed, and he said he was going to see a specialist and that Jackass 4 was happening. But then later that same day, he began to post many things about how he was quitting Jackass. He's been commissioning a lot of fan art that says, like, fuck Jackass without Bam and Jack Flop 4. That's what he's calling it now. And that is when he began to talk more about turning gay, which is, I think, maybe the most interesting part of this, is that he's saying it started because he said he wanted to turn gay and fuck Jeff Tremaine, Spike Jonze, and Johnny Knoxville.
Well, he said, okay, so he's using it as a metaphor to business fuck them, but he says, they were my family, but they betrayed me, so I'm going to turn gay and incest and fuck them.
Yeah, I don't know if he meant he's going to turn gay and incest, or if he's going to turn gay and incest and fuck them.
He's going to incest fuck them. He's
they're his family.
Yeah, he's gay, and he's going to incest fuck them because
incest
they're
fuck
his
them.
family.
Yeah.
But it was, as Ember pointed out, it was a metaphor that then became about Bam being gay, and Bam has continued to make allusions to.
Yeah. There's so much to unpack here, because it really tells you what Bam, he's like struggling. Like in that first video, he was saying, like, you know, I love homos, but Novak is a gay wad. And now he's saying, these guys betrayed me, so I'm going to turn gay and fuck them. I'm going gay again. I'm going to go to the gayborhood. And it's like, so you can really see that in his mind, gayness is equated with, you know, with badness and screwing someone. Like there's these deep-seated upset things, but it's also like bursting out of him.
But also, because he talked about Dunn too, in like
that he was his life partner.
Yeah,
Literally
and I'm not
calls him his
saying
life partner.
I'm not reading too much into that. I'm also not like trying to suggest that they were maybe more than just friends, but it definitely seems to be a conflict of feelings. And one thing I do want to address is I feel like I think it's good we're having this conversation because we're engaging with the art that the podcast is about. But I do feel like we are starting to walk a line where we probably will never have anybody from Jackass on the show if we're going to be looking and engaging with it on this level, which I don't really see any way out of. I just thought that was worth pointing out.
Yeah, I would love to not be like, here's what's going on with Bam. Whoa, you know. But either way, obviously.
But here's the
hard,
thing.
though.
No, I think we should. I think it's part of, because the show and the movies, it's different than other like art. It's like their personalities and their lives are a part of it. Like we know Bam's parents, that we don't know them, but we're emotionally attached to these people. So it doesn't feel, I mean, feel free to disagree if you're watching. I don't want to hear your opinion, but I think it feels appropriate to engage with it on a sympathetic level. And also, I mean, Well, I don't think gaywad's really offensive, but I think it's worth looking at that kind of, I mean, I'm going to call it like mania because that's what he described it as. I think it's worth looking at because this is a show for gaywads.
Yeah.
Yeah, so also because an element of the show is counting down to Jackass 4, it is a part of what's going on with Jackass 4, and it's likely going to delay it for quite some time, I would imagine.
Because I don't see a world where Bam isn't involved with Jackass. Like, I see this as, like, probably being something that's going to continue and probably continue until he gets, like, actually sober. But, like, yeah, it's... Yeah.
What I will say before I leave and end the segment is it seems in the video where he said something along the lines of, we're going to continue and we're going to figure out how to do this in a way that's best for everybody. It seems like what he meant was that he is going to make his own movie, because that's what he switched to very fast. Like a few hours after he posted that video, he started saying that he's going to make his own Jackass 4, and he's been making mock-ups where, like, it'll say, like, Jackass 4, fuck yourself, but the CKY and fuck yourself will be, like, highlighted. And then today he posted footage of him and some friends. I didn't recognize who it was. I don't think it was CKY guys, but he posted a video of them shooting some kind of stunt. And he also posted a diagram of a stunt that he wants to do in his movie.
Looks pretty cool. We should show it right here.
So it does look like, if it's a part of an episode or not, what he is trying to do is instead make his own stunt movie. So we'll see. I doubt Knoxville and Tremaine and Spike are going to keep going without him at this point, but they are in deep.
Well, before you go, something that I said to you earlier before the podcast was like that there is precedent for this within the Jackass crew, because they went through this with Stevo before, and it was Knoxville and Tremaine and I forget who else who did go to his house and did the intervention and got him to the hospital. And so, you know, I think that this is just kind of, they're probably behind the scenes talking about like what is best for him as a person and trying to figure out how to move the project forward, or if to move the project forward, you know. But I think it's worth pointing out that this crew has historically been like very sympathetic and very caring to their own, and they are wanting to take care of him. I'm sure they're not like, fuck you, Bam is fucking us all. Like, I'm sure they're just in a really difficult position and want him to get help. And
they have resources to get somebody like him help, which is, I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people that deal with bipolar disorder, and like it's very hard to treat because of mania, because during mania you start making your own movies and inventing your own language and all that stuff. Sometimes
where's that movie coming?
I'm not entirely convinced I'm bipolar because of how capable I am of napping. Like, I can get on like a manic tear where I am taking on 30 different projects or making an illegal comic book movie, but I still take a lot of naps. I know that doesn't look like mania.
We're glad.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go now, but much love to Bam and everybody involved. Prayers for Bam and the whole crew.
Prayers for Bam.
Yeah, and we're never making light of it on the show either. I don't think it's...
Yeah, no, and, you know, thank you,
Newsboy.
Newsboy Segment. You know, when we started this podcast, we were like, it seemed like Jackass was something from the past, from our childhood, you know, but now there is news in real time, and it's like, I almost feel like it would be negligent to not at least mention.
It would be so weird, and it's partially kind of why we have a very exciting guest next week, but I'm excited to just do an episode with you, because it was a weird week. I mean, not to make this about us, but it was a weird week to have a Jackass podcast. Just be like, in reading, because it makes me really sad, just because, again, like, I know a lot of people with mental illness and addiction problems, and he's already been through it, and I don't really want him to suffer anymore. I don't want any of those guys to suffer. That was the other thing I really realized this week, is like how much space I have in my heart for these men that I've never met. and probably won't.
And, I'm sure you can relate to this. I don't have it to the extent that Bam has it, obviously, because he's really suffering. But in every project that I do several times, I'm like, everyone is my nemesis. Everyone's trying to fuck me. Fuck all of you guys. I'm going to turn gay. I'm going to fuck all of you. Like it totally go down the whole 100%. And I just want to have revenge on everyone. And then, like you said, like I'll take a nap or I'll just have dinner or something. And I'll be like, oh.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing is happening.
It's crazy because, like, I mean, you don't even really need to talk about addiction or bipolar. Like, that's just the creative process. Is part of that. Part of it is the fucking pain and struggle, which is like, I don't think there's like the romanticized, Kurt Cobain version of it. I think that's fucking annoying as balls and is destructive and ruins culture. But part of the process is suffering and I don't know, I was, not to bring up Tom Green, but I was thinking about him again today too, because I was watching, he has a Monica Lewinsky special that is really amazing.
Oh boy.
Because she's in it.
Hell yeah.
And a lot of it is like with him and his parents and like in his hometown. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know, it's just something about this era of like MTV comedy and like people like these guys doing extreme shit to their bodies and to like piss off boomers and like also inviting you into their home to meet their fucking parents who they prank or they like fuck with or they get a nice dinner with Monica Lewinsky. Like, I don't know, it's just and I feel like that's something that is really great about this show too, is like that doesn't really exist anymore. It exists, but it's really fake, like with influencers and shit.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. I finally watched Freddy Got Fingered last week.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
I knew you would. I mean, I brought him up again today because my plan was going to be, if you hadn't seen it yet, I was just going to buy it for you and do the same thing. But yeah, I'm glad you watched it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what a movie should be. If you get $1 million or whatever.
I do think that, like, that's the kind of movie that can only be made if the writer and the director and the main character are the same person. Yeah. You can't communicate an idea like that unless you yourself are just completely in charge.
And, I mean, the fact that it mirrors the same thing that we're talking about of, like, you're watching a person, like in the context of the movie, he gets a bunch of money and just fucking burns it essentially. And I don't know, I think it's brilliant. I'm glad you watched it. Don't watch Ewok Adventure.
Okay.
That one's mine.
Not in danger of watching Ewok Adventure.
Should we watch
let's watch some sketches.
Cool.
Yeah, so we saw some sketches. What did you like?
I honestly, this was a really great run. There were like multiple times throughout watching all of them, I just kept thinking about how much I love Jackass.
It's a beautiful place.
I mean, my favorite was probably the Party Boy sketch tonight. And not for the usual reasons.
Really?
I mean, because like the usual reasons for the Party Boy sketch would be because I'd be getting like an up close and personal view of Chris Pontius's body. Censored, of course, because it's MTV, but nevertheless, sometimes leaving more up to the imagination is cool,
See, this was my favorite Party Boy sketch because he was antagonizing in, I think, the right way.
Yeah, it was, but it could have been shot better. It could have been shot closer.
That's true. It could have gone on longer.
Yeah,
I would have.
He's basically streaked in front of football players.
It was football players in full uniform having a full football practice, and Chris Pontius, as he is wont to do, shows up, tears away his tearaway clothes, and starts dancing in his tie and nothing else. No panties.
Yeah, he was fully nude.
Fully
I guess because he was
nude.
outside.
Yeah. And
still illegal, probably.
Yeah.
Which is like exciting and cool, like and sexy to do.
Ran around antagonizing the football players, and the coach got mad, and you see in the wide the coach comes over and like picks up and kicks away the tearaway clothes, and then it's like, okay, back to work, boys.
This is like, I mean, I mean, like every Chris Pontius bit is like my favorite bit ever, but like one of my favorite just like structures to any of these bits is like when they're interrupting men doing like men things. Like there's another one where I can't remember who's in it, but they're just blowing an air horn during like golfing matches.
That's one of the best. Is that in the first movie? That's maybe my favorite sketch in the first movie.
I think so too, because it's like because the golfers get so mad and then start like hitting golf balls at the guys, and the guys are like happy because it's like furthering the bit even more. But I like anything that like interrupts the status quo of fucking stupid men doing their dumb fucking guy bullshit.
Oh, that air horn, that kills me.
Did you have a favorite tonight?
I did really enjoy the Bam sketch. Oh, both Bam sketches. But the one that I'm thinking about, there was a very classic CKY prank on Phil. It's just they're taking screws out of Phil's chair so that when he comes to balance his books and he sits down, the chair will break and he'll fall backwards. So they do all this setup in the like very dim lighting. And then it cuts to a hidden camera in the daylight and like some like do like some elevator music.
Yeah, the most like stock. It was definitely the first like one that came up when they searched through the Warner Music Library or whatever.
And then Phil, some of CKY's success must be due to the fact that Phil does have really good comic timing, because he walks in. And he doesn't sit down immediately.
He's literally whistling, too. He's literally doing, like, what a fucking cartoon character does before they, like, walk into, like, a fucking pit.
He walks in whistling. He stands in front of the chair. He picks up his checkbook. He is going to balance his books. It's exactly what they said. And then, finally, he sits down and falls completely backwards.
Yeah.
It just breaks immediately.
And it's the perfect comedy fall. He's, because he's a big roly-poly man and his feet go up in the air.
Right up in the air.
It's just, and the whole lead up is just like everything
so
you
long.
just described. It's the biggest, it's so suspenseful. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The other, Bam bit that I really liked tonight that made me very like kind of sad and nostalgic was Tony Hawk just dumping Bam on a inner tube, like they were tubing like on a jet boat or on a speedboat, not a jet boat. Is a jet boat
a jet boat?
Is that if
Go
that isn't
fuck
a thing,
yourselves.
it'd be really fucking cool. Like think about that, like a really fast boat, like with rocket boosters.
Like a motorboat?
No, but like with rocket boosters.
With rocket boosters?
And Tony Hawk is driving it.
That actually was this is a moment where a Bam IRL joke really worked well, because it starts off with Tony Hawk driving the boat and then it pans over to Bam and Bam's like, Tony Hawk is on this boat. It's too much. And he throws himself off the boat because it's too much. Yeah. And that's just the beginning of the bit. If that was the whole clip, I would have been like, perfect.
No, that would have been fine. But like, did you ever tube at all when you were a kid?
I've ridden a jet ski. Is that yeah. A jet ski like from Eastbound and Down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are other things too.
The motorcycle.
That is pretty good. That is like
they invented it for Eastbound and Down.
That does immediately conjure your relationship with the jet ski.
In the pilot of Eastbound and Down, that shot at the very end of him riding away after he's thrown her off, and it's just got the little psst.
Yeah,
I
didn't mean to shame you,
because
I immediately pictured it and I was like, no, that should be everybody's frame of reference for a jet ski.
Well, I've ridden one of those.
What a fucking show. Well, tubing is basically, if you don't know, because I think I think it's like a very Midwestern thing. You just attach an inner tube to the back of a boat and you just ride around a lake or a body of water, and you never stay on the tube. You get dumped immediately. And this was my entire childhood, because we had a cabin in Wisconsin, and so I would do that constantly, and I liked it. But in retrospect, when I look back, I think I was doing it to get my father to think I was athletic. and it did hurt
Huh.
me, and I have a scar from these water activities.
Nothing says athletic like a big blow up donut.
Yeah, it really goes to show like how infantile my idea of like what a father would be impressed with. Like, are you proud of me, Dad? Am I a sporto now that I sat my fat ass on this, because I was a fat little roly-poly kid too with tits. I had big fat titties when I was a kid.
Why am I laughing at this?
Because it was
really
funny. It's a
funny.
really funny image. That kid, I love that kid so much. But
That kid's hilarious. Yeah.
the funniest version.
Can you use an inner tube on snow?
You can, yeah. You can.
So kind of like all hail the like it's an amazing toy.
It got me really sad because I was like, I can't remember the last time I've sat on an inner tube, and there would be nothing more fun than doing that.
They're
right now.
amazing.
And I want to, you don't have to agree with this. I don't mean to put you on the spot. You know, I think people have been telling both of us for a couple years now that we're both about to blow up at any time.
Yeah. So just
while-
anytime we're ready.
Yeah, while also simultaneously being underrated,
True.
and inspirational, whatever. Trying not to make this resentful. The first one of us that gets a fuck you money. Can we make an agreement today that we will have? It doesn't have to be an excessive weekend. But
yeah.
just a water, just
Oh my God.
we get
Yes.
a boat and we
Yes.
just
Yes.
fucking
Yes.
tube and jet.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I was actually thinking while we were watching it, I was like, should we have a weekend at like Lake Tahoe? Should we have an expensive ass weekend?
I think we should. I mean, like, I am a lot of dollars away from that.
Yeah, it's
right
not
now.
today, but
yeah, I think it's something. I don't think it should be the last episode of this show, but I do think it should be a very special episode, and I think
that would be so fun.
you know, cool. I'm glad I brought that up, and I'm glad we now have photo documentation or video documentation of this. Is one long burp.
We too can fall into a lake. So I know you watch this and you think, oh, there go a couple of nerds who just wish they could do the things on Jackass, but wait and see. We too can push each other into a lake.
It's so fun to think about, like, either of us driving a boat and the other one tubing.
Yeah.
And I feel like we would get in one fight that weekend. I feel like we probably would get in one, not physical, but I feel like we would get in one argument that weekend because one of us would get dumped and not like it. But then we'd make up and we'd eat hot dogs or something around.
So long as the camera's rolling, because I want to
Yeah.
see it.
Um,
The important thing is that whoever gets pissed and is grumpy, the other person has to laugh in their face
yes, yeah. Oh, that should really just be.
and be like, "You look great, dude. You were awesome out there."
That's like my new solution, because I used to have really bad road rage, and like I would flip people off, and there were so many times where like I put myself in a lot of danger and people would get out of their cars and stuff, and I'd lock the door and immediately puss out. So now what I do is I just smile and give thumbs up and wave and say you're doing a great job. But like that should be like that's kind of how you should probably meet every confrontation. It just showed us one thing. Because there's nothing scarier than angry Johnny Knoxville.
It's very scary.
But there's nothing better and more pleasant than Johnny Knoxville laughing. Sorry, I fizzled out, huh? Oh, speaking of angry people, I don't like seeing angry. Well, we should talk about Slingshot.
Let's get into it. So, Chris wore someone's culture as his costume, and he fell on his ass many times immediately, and it was very satisfying.
It felt like a cursed bit. This was a follow-up to Slingshot 1. This was part 3, actually. We saw Slingshot 2 tonight, but it was basically, they succeeded. It was wheels. But this time...
What's great about Slingshots is every single time Ryan Dunn is like, this is the Slingshot redemption.
Yeah.
And then he'll fall on his ass.
But part 3 is... Slingshot 3 is funny because it picks up with him covered in feather and tar.
Yeah, we don't know what was happening earlier, but he got tarred and feathered somehow.
Yeah. Which...
A lot of racy shit going on.
I was going to say, that's also...
in this one.
Probably shouldn't...
Shouldn't have done that, yeah.
I'm going to actually I'm gonna give them. It's not my call to give them this on Audible. Is that a lot of sport talk today? But they probably just didn't know that was kind of maybe a racially insensitive thing to do.
I don't know. We
Regardless,
can't cut them any slack, you know. The boys are the boys.
Yeah. Chief Roberts, though.
Chief
which is
Roberts
what
was
Chris
too much.
Pontius's character wearing a very like cheap first-person headdress
On his way right to Coachella.
on a hobby horse.
That part I liked.
Yeah.
I loved that he was on a little hobby horse. I thought the hobby horse was plenty. Could have been on a hobby horse with like a fancy king hat that they have
Or a
Wee Man
fucking
wear sometimes.
Cowboy hat.
Anything. Any hat.
Fucking put Wee Man on it in a cowboy hat. There you go.
Better.
Let
With
me
he's like doing a rope
I'm
straight in the lake.
we both, all three of us tonight had a reaction though when Wee Man got like slingshot, where it's like because it looked like
Yeah.
he really got hurt.
They didn't take care of him on that one, and he didn't get a redemption.
No.
They tried it once, and he didn't quite. He like fell out of it, and then it like pushed him into the water, and it was very uncomfortable.
Honestly, like the problem with these slingshot bits, with this one specifically, is the ramp was too steep.
Oh,
If they made the ramp less steep, they would have gone further and actually higher because they would have been able to get more distance and momentum.
where are the scientists? Right here. We're over here, so please call us Jackass 4. Okay.
Yeah, hire us to be your scientists on set. Oh God, I just pictured you on set in that fucking suit.
This suit would get covered in actual poop.
I don't know. You did some additional directing on The People's Joker.
Sure, yeah.
And like literally the movie would have sucked without it.
I'm a genius.
But do you have aspirations as to be a director at all? Because I gotta say, this suit, if you show up to set in this suit, you are an auteur, like instant auteur with a vision. How does that make you? What do you think?
Well, the thing is that Bobby can attest to is that I was raised for the stage. So I tend to picture all shots taking place on a Hollywood soundstage. And when it's explained to me that it does not need to literally be the actual shape of the set, I'm like, what? No. So it's very hard for me to actually make intelligent decisions about a shot list and make like the directorial decisions you have to make if it's not literally for a stage. So I'm very, very good at directing for performance.
Yes.
And I'm very good at like having a vision, but in terms of the way that language is translated to the cameraman, harder.
See, that's
Harder
I
for
mean
me.
that's honestly why I think you would be a good director, is because I think the key to being a good director is being able to pull a good performance out of somebody. Like, I mean, I think like all the other stuff can go along with it, but if you have like a good DP and a shot list, somebody else making a shot list, I think you could be the next
One of you.
Orson Welles. Bigger than us.
I could be the next Vera or the next Bobby.
Yeah.
How about all of us?
Yeah. If we all fused together, we probably would become Orson Welles. Like, I just pictured that. I've been watching a lot of Godzilla movies, and I just pictured that, and a lot of anime, being like a mech suit of us like folding into each other and becoming a giant robot.
Pretty much what it looks
version.
like when we all try to sit on this couch.
Gator unicycle. That was really quick. That was just a quick one. It was
Okay, so what was great about Stevo today is that he was wearing a wig.
yeah, because this was
His bits were terrible.
definitely right after we've been kind of on a bad Stevo run, and you know, if you watch the show and listen to the show, we love Stevo here.
We love Stevo.
But we've had a couple stinky Stevo episodes.
Stinky Stevo. Literally, though, I'm telling you guys, I think he's extraordinarily insecure. He's going in with a bag of tricks and trying to force those bags of tricks into extreme situations. And that's why he's like, I'm going to unicycle, clown school, into an alligator's pit. Dumb, daredevil, carny shit. So it's like, if he can't think of a thing to do, he doesn't have the mind of a Bam, who is like, let's dig a pit and we all piss in it. And there's a guy down there taking a shower with soap. Stevo would never have this idea.
Yeah. Well, that's why the peanut butter and jelly sandwich that is Jackass works.
They all bring something important to the table. Yeah. But that wig, man.
That wig, because it was weird. It was like a Jerry curl, but like not. It like had the texture of a Jerry curl, but like was, I don't know, kind of a bowl cut too. It looked kind of real for a second.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, Stevo grew out his hair and it's like that?
Yeah, it's like, your hair looks like fucking pubes. Please keep shaving your head.
And then we were like, oh, he shaved his head. It's the way he's like. Did he have fake eyebrows too?
No, I don't know. That was how I figured it out. I figured it out with my science skills.
The scientists. Ring, ring.
I think.
Vera, what's on your hands?
Oh, this is just a hand mask. Oh, so at the start of the show, I should have teased this. We should have done this like as a big reveal. This is like fucking the FFS Jackass deer all over again. So, Bobby, when you're editing this, move the following part to the beginning of the show. I just put on these hand masks, and they're gonna make my hands softer. And I was thinking at the end of the episode today, we could do a hand reveal. Didn't really commit. I keep like starting these bits and losing steam.
All right, it's gonna be a big hand reveal.
And then, okay, so that's your second edit point. Okay, I think it's time to reveal my hands.
Oh, is it time?
The thing is like, it's not even gonna be that. It's just.
Yeah, no one will be able to see.
My hands are just.
Are they wet?
I think so. Let's see.
I hope they're at least wet. Oh, they're wet. They're new. Okay, so do the other one like it's being born.
Wait, how do you mean?
just your best interpretation. Okay. Like it's being born. Like it's coming out. Like it's a clone coming out of a sack. It's alive!
Ooh, I'm not gonna touch the mic again. My hands are all cummy. It's my hands smell like mango.
Yes.
Do they smell good?
Really good.
That was really intimate.
Sorry.
But it's Valentine's Day. I shouldn't say that. We shouldn't put a timestamp.
Okay, so Bobby, so edit here, and Vera will jackass dare me to sniff her hands.
I jackass dare you to sniff my hands.
And then you can cut to when I did it. We have to go.
Feels like it's probably the end of the show.
We're done.
Thank you so much for tuning in this week.
Thank you each personally for tuning in.
Yeah, honestly, I like the feedback I get on this show is tremendous. Keep watching, keep enjoying, keep telling people.
Really fast. At the very end, Dave England hopped around as a one-legged guy. He likes to do this bit a lot, but this was the best one I've seen so far. It's just he has one leg tucked up into his pants.
Yeah, I like it because it's like a dumb uncle bit.
Yeah,
but like he elevated it.
He did.
The roller blade in the crutch.
Yeah, he was Knoxville inserting himself into social situations.
I'll wipe it
Milady. Cinderella. He invited him to those cummy little hands. He inserted himself into a tennis match. He was like, "Oh, guys, I haven't played tennis in a while. I just hurt my leg." And some guy behind the camera is like, hurt his leg.
My favorite thing about this show is, like, you want to talk about, like, losing steam during a bit. None of them commit to these characters they're playing.
Knoxville does.
Knoxville does. Dave England does not.
No.
He's basically just saying, like, what his lines would be.
I think he's so scared, and he's
Yeah.
just, like, trying to be funny.
But that makes it more impressive to me, because I do think, like, he's out of his comfort zone with these kind of bits. Yeah, it was really funny.
Yeah, he went and bought one roller skate, and he was like, I don't need the other one, so maybe just charge me for one. And the guy was like, no.
And then he like goes out on the sidewalk outside and slips and falls in front of these 3 old ladies. I couldn't hear what they said.
They
but
were like, come on, it's time to go.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
They just turned around and walked away, which is about what you should do if you see Dave England riding run rollerblade down a fucking sidewalk. Good grief, that looked like it hurt.
My sweet boy Dave. Yeah, poor knees.
Poor
Poor
knees.
Prayers for Dave England's knees. Mostly prayers for Bam, but a couple for Dave England's knees.
Yeah, I want all of us right now to just muster all the good, positive vibes we have and just direct them towards Bam Margera.
Bam Margera.
Just a beautiful boy, so sweet. We love you, Bam. We hope you're okay.
Yeah, may all the people around you in your life be able to help you. May you be receptive to that help. And may your family and your friends and you feel that there's grace and love and a bright future. Amen.
That was nice. We should end the show
With a
in
prayer.
every week.
Yeah, I think so.
Is this going to become a Christian Jackass podcast?
It is.
I mean, our guest next week. It will make it seem that way, so that's cool. All right.
I tried to get my little brother on the show today. I called him last minute, and he was scared. But
Has he listened or watched it all?
no, he's frightened.
Send him an episode, and like, it's so low stakes.
It's so low stakes, yeah.
I mean, we take it very seriously, but like, it's just hanging out.
You would love my brother.
I really want to meet him. Because I was telling you, like, I had my sister on my other podcast, Hot Topics with Vera Drew, brought to you by Buco de Beppo, and it took 3 weeks to convince her to do it.
Yeah.
So I haven't given up hope that,
Yeah.
he should come on.
I'll try. Fingers crossed. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.